Need to know. Matt will show us the flooding risks along the Grand River, but we want to start in the tracking center.
And Terry is tracking just how much rain is coming down over the next few hours.
Well, it's been pouring for the last 24 hours, and we've got at least another 20 to 24 hours of heavy rainfall to get through. Downtown Grand Rapids, US 131 and the Ford Freeway. Pavement, of course, is wet on area roads. Temperatures in most places are in the 50s, though some locations to the north are in the upper 30s to around 40 degrees, and that's where we may have still some localized dense fog to contend with. Today, again, the big story is that just relentless precipitation. Widespread green on the radar shows the rain everywhere. Where you see the yellows and the oranges embedded on the radar, that's where the heaviest precipitation is coming together from Georgetown Township toward Jamestown, Byron Center, toward Holland, into the Kalamazoo, Battle Creek areas, Paw Paw, Matawan, down toward Three Rivers and Vicksburg into Dowagiac. And the flow of moisture really is going to be quite impressive all day today. So out the door at the bus stop, there are a lot of schools that do have 2-hour delays. So pay careful attention to those notes that are scrolling at the bottom of your screen. But we're also looking at pretty much what you see is what you get today. Widespread heavy rain with high temperatures in the 50s. Meteorologist Matt Kirkwood monitoring the latest on the flood potential right along the banks of the Grand River. Good morning, Matt.
All right, Terry, yeah, it's very wet out here. As you mentioned, we've had about 24 hours worth of rain, and more spotty than I think the next 24 hours of rain is going to be. Yeah, folks, I think we're going to have another 24 hours worth of rain, and it's going to come down more consistent and even heavier. Right now, I'm standing right next to the Grand River, and this is the focus, the largest river in West Michigan, and how much is this going to flood over the coming days? You can see the ice chunks flowing through. Actually, a pretty good flow right down the Grand River, at least at this junction. The key is how much is this going to break up the ice, and will it jam up? That's just a wait and see mode right now. Now, what's going to help break it up are the warm temperatures and also all this rain. I want to show you a broad view of what's going on in the radar. The rain extends all the way back to the Mississippi River. And this area of low pressure that's producing it is going to very slowly move right across lower Michigan, bringing all that rain right over us. That's why we have a flood watch continuing throughout the viewing area, and they even upgraded to a flood warning for Berrien Cass and St. Joseph. So very heavy rain will continue. Now, because of that, the rivers, we're monitoring the rivers very closely. Most of them, at least at this point, should just receive minor flooding. The exception is likely Comstock Park around the Grand River. Now, more additional rain is on the way. I think consistently around 3 inches, maybe even more by the time Wednesday morning arrives, and that's when it should finally come to an end. Teresa, Casey.
Matt, thank you. And we also have 24-hour News 8's Catherine Ducharme live in Grand Rapids for us this morning.
Yeah, she's looking at the changes that the city has made since the historic flood in 2013, as well as how emergency officials are prepping for the possible flooding. Catherine?
Hey guys, good morning. And emergency management says that they are keeping a close eye, watching the Grand River very closely, like I said, because it has had issues with flooding in the past. And they also mentioned that if you are near a low-lying area near a river, you could very well be dealing with some flood issues, but nothing compared to what we dealt with back, if you remember, that historic flood in 2013. Since then, the city has spent about $10 million to protect areas of the city from another massive flood. And after an agreement was reached with FEMA, the city has raised flood walls by as much as 3 feet in some places. Controls have been added, which keeps river water from backing up into the storm drain system, causing problems beyond the riverbank. Building owners, they are also boosting flood protection, including the Plaza Towers, which, if you remember, was one of those places that saw major damage from that massive flood in 2013. It now has a large steel door in the opening to block floodwaters from getting in. A raised bank or border has also been added along the east side of the river, south of Leonard Street as well. So a lot of changes made since 2013. Obviously hoping that it's going to and supposed to hold up. But once again, just something to keep in mind. You can find more on the flood rising, the waters, as well as how to keep safe throughout all of this on our website at woodtv.com. Reporting live along the Grand River, Catherine Ducharme, 24-hour News 8.